I'm going to go over some really basic fundamental parts of contact staff that you guys can go ahead and drill this week and get your bodies accustomed to, and that should be a nice little supplement for the rest of the material from the classes. So first things first, basic hand wrap. I'm going to go ahead and grab the staff right next to the center point in my left hand, right? My thumb of my left hand is really close to the center point. With my palm facing down the entire time, right, I'm going to wrap the staff over the top of my hand, stretch out my hand as it wraps over, and catch it on the other side. And now the center point's on my pinky side. I'm going to go ahead, muscle it over, open my hand up, and let it fall into my hand again. Now you'll notice that my palm is staying face down. I'm not lifting or turning it up to grab it. I'm waiting for it to fall into my hand. Again, what helps me out is if my hand is outstretched so there's a nice amount of surface area for the staff to roll over. And also the wrap is happening on the top of my knuckles, near my fingers. It's not happening on my wrist, right? I really want this to happen on top of my hand. The next progression of this move is doing them continuously and passing them from one hand to the other. So if we start in the left hand, I'm going to continue with the same wrap, wrapping over the top of my hand, and right here when the staff gets about vertical, I want to go ahead and start sticking this other hand underneath the center point so that the center point lands on top of the hand. This hand stays here, and I'm carrying the center point back over my left hand with my right hand, right? There are no thumbs involved. You'll notice I'm not grabbing onto the staff at all. I can keep my fingers nice and spread apart, and each time my hand is picking up the staff at the center point, right? Center point is wrapped over my hand, and I place that center point back over my left hand, right? You really want to avoid turning your hand up or grabbing onto it. Don't use your thumbs for any of this. Hands spread apart, and again, this is happening right around here on the hand, not on the wrist, okay? If you are having a real hard time with your hands, you can just get used to walking around and just getting that balance right there with the staff balanced on the outstretched hand to condition the muscles in your wrist a little bit, right? Basic movement, but really, really crucial and helpful. Something that we touched on lightly yesterday were neck wraps. We started with a horizontal neck wrap, right? I have my arms outstretched. The center point is right here next to my right hand. And I want to just practice this launch a little bit by making it nice and horizontal, right? Before I really throw it. It's real horizontal. I'm chest deep in water, and I do not want my staff to touch the water, right? So I'm not dipping down like that. It's nice and straight, nice and horizontal. I want to go ahead and make sure that when I start launching my staff over, my hand makes contact with my neck. Okay, and right here I can kind of twist my hand a little bit to really see that, oh yeah, I have a lot of control over where the staff is going. I can really make sure that I start to launch it and it's going to end up between my neck and my shoulder. And it's not going to slope down my shoulder like that. That's what we want to avoid. Nice horizontal launch, hand makes contact, and then you launch the staff over so it ends up between your neck and your shoulder on the other side. Check in, make sure that you are in fact holding the staff off center and that you're launching that center point to the other side of your neck, okay? And then to pick it up, you're going to use the opposite hand. It's crossing your torso with your active arm meaning the arm that's launching the staff, and it's right there ready to pick it up overhand. I'm not picking it up underhand, okay? I've got my hand over the staff, palm facing down, back. Other side. Right? I do give a little lean forward as well to make room at the back of my neck. You don't have to stick your butt out and bend your body. You can stand up tall and just give a little bit of a tilt forward in the neck, right, to make that room. You can also do the neck wrap on a vertical plane. Right now we're just doing it on a horizontal plane. We can also make sure that the staff is moving nice and vertical on our front wall plane, right? We call this a wall plane because if I was standing right in front of a wall, I'd be able to move this staff without hitting the wall, right alongside the plane. I'm going to stick my head forward, look down at the ground. Again, I'm not sticking my butt out. I'm really just creating a surface right here for the center point of the staff to roll over. And my other hand comes up and is ready to retrieve the staff immediately, right? Other hand retrieves the staff, thumb up, right? My thumbs are up when I release it and when I catch it. We have a hand wrap, a neck wrap. This is all, we call it a wrap because they're all moments when the center point is wrapping over a certain part of our body. We also have an elbow wrap. I'm going to point my elbow straight forward, make a nice fold in my arms. I'm actually touching my left hand to my right shoulder. I have a nice grip away from the center point. And on a vertical plane, I start to bring the staff up until my hand makes contact with my arm. I'm then going to watch that center point wrap over. It's called an elbow wrap, but it's really wrapping over this fold of the arm. It's not down here, it's right here, right? That'll give us a lot more control. Hand touches the arm, wraps over my arm, and then you can just let it fall from there. Or you can wait until the staff gets horizontal to pick it up again, to grab it with that hand. Wait for it to wrap completely over the fold of the arm before you grab it. Make sure again too that your arm is pointing straight out and it's not sloping down. It could either tilt up a little bit or point straight forward. All right, we need to make sure that this surface is nice and flat for the staff so that it doesn't fall off of us. Those are our wraps, our hand wrap, neck wrap, elbow wrap. We also have a shoulder wrap. Again, if you have bigger muscles or bigger shoulders, you may want to take a grip a little bit further away from the center of the staff because it's going to be more work to get the staff over your shoulder. I bring my arm, my left arm forward in front of me, okay? I'm going to actually tilt my body a little bit so I can see my staff in my right hand and I can get my face out of the way. Because what I want to do is I want to, again, on a vertical plane, bring my hand up and into my armpit, make contact with my hand, and then I can see that the center point is over my shoulder. It's not down here, right? I need to make sure that it's up, over, to clear that shoulder and make that wrap. That's our shoulder wrap. We can go ahead and do an arm roll, which is different. Obviously, a roll is when the staff is rolling continuously down a part of your body, maybe a leg, maybe an arm, maybe your back. Very different than the wrap that is just wrapping maybe one time over a piece of your hand, your neck. For an arm roll, we can go ahead and start the staff up in between our neck and our shoulder. My center point is just slightly behind me. It's not in, it's not too far out, right? I have my arm at this nice curve that we were talking about in our Steve class, and I'm going to use my hand to help guide the staff, give it a little bit of a push down my arm, and just let it roll down my arm. We're just going to practice that roll. And when that feels comfortable to you, you can go ahead and still give the staff a roll, but you don't have to hold on to it, right? My arm's at a curve. It's not bent or it's not straight, right? Because this motion is spiralic in nature, we need to make a curve in our body to help accommodate the circular motion. Right as I get past my elbow, right here, it's a good time to start raising the arm up, and the staff, you'll see, will roll around the wrist and into the palm of the hand. So you're going to raise your palm up, right? Again, from the top of the shoulder, dropping the shoulder, curved arm, palm up to the ceiling. And the hand as well is kind of curving inward to my center. It's not crossing my body too much, right? I want to keep my hand in front of my vision. We're doing this horizontally. We can, of course, also attempt to do it vertically, right? Vertically just means that, again, it's happening on that front wall plane. And I am making sure the center point's just a little further, a little behind me, a little behind my shoulder. I have my arm down, and as the staff comes down, I'm going to bring my arm up and away from my face. Actually, even bring it out a little bit. I encourage you to use your hand to help guide the staff down the arm and into the hand. An exercise that you can play with this next week to prepare for next week's class, the fishtail class, is placing the center point on the top of the wrist. Hand is flexed, right? I have almost a 90-degree angle, not quite, but a nice flex in the hand to get a point here where the staff can rest and not move around too much. Center point is right on top of my wrist. You can either clench and make a fist, or have your hand outstretched, whatever feels comfortable for you, when you can maintain this bend. We're just going to hang out here and move around a bit. If the staff starts sloping backwards, it means the center point's too far back. If it starts moving forward, you got to, again, replace the center point on top of the wrist. And we can start just moving our hand from side to side. And making sure you maintain that flex is what's crucial to having the staff not fall off the wrist. You can use the hand a little bit to stall it to each side. You want to do that on both sides, right? This is good fishtail practice, good sensitivity to the center point practice. A lot of contact staff is just being very mindful of the center point, which is our point of balance, where it is on our body, and how we can move our body in order to make sure that it stays balanced. Go ahead and practice these moves for the next week. They're very basic, simple things that you can just start to accustom yourself to, and that I think will help quite a bit to supplement the rest of the material that we're learning in class. So, best of luck.